Hey everyone, we're coming to you from an undisclosed location that is better known as my office. And I have two things here that I have as my background today. First of all, I've got the right there. Huskies Pride, University of Connecticut alum. But also, I wanted to show you folks this, which is sitting in my office. That's right over my left shoulder. And that is a map of the old school of Greyhawk, Dungeons and Dragons Greyhawk. Why am I showing you that map today? Because I want to talk a little bit about something which came up a fair bit over the last few weeks in some conferences that I went to. And that has to do with aspects of world building. Not just how to do it. I may do a short later on, actually, about some ways, some techniques to kind of look into world building, but about how much is too much. That is to say, when are you overdoing it with the world building, or at least the world presenting? Because the reality is that if you were a speculative fiction writer, right, and if you're writing fantasy, science fiction, horror, something like that, one of the things that we find most awesome about doing that is that we get to create and play with a new world, a new environment, cool new stuff. Even if we're writing it in our world, but we have it, populated by vampires and werewolves and ghouls and all that kind of stuff. It still is a little bit different than the environment that we're used to. And that's really exciting. It's fun, right, to play with a new Lego set, if you will, and get a chance to do some new things with it. So that stuff is cool. The problem comes when you spend so much time telling people about the world that you forget to tell them about why they should care about it, right? This is what I like to call the sourcebook problem, where you're like, hey, check out my awesome sewer system. And you're like, that's cool, but why should it matter? And the disconnect there between the author and the reader, I think, largely comes down to a misunderstanding of what readers come to your work for. Do they want to see the cool new world? Absolutely. But what they really want to see, what they really want to think about so that they will care about it, is that the characters that you populate your world with are living in that world in an interesting and unusual way. And that sort of unusual, interesting way of living is something that contributes to the plot. But the characters themselves, we have to care about, and the characters have to care about the world that matters to them. By that I mean, if you've got an architect who walks into an old and ancient city that's never been before discovered, the architect's focus on certain particular architectural features of the way that buildings are made or the way that the roads are laid out or something is going to say a whole lot about that character and is going to allow us to understand the character and why the character cares about things in a better way. And that means that we have the connection between people living in the world and the world itself. You will always know more about the world than your readers. The question is, can you provide them what will ultimately matter to your characters? And if you can do that, which is a balancing act, of course, you will get them interested in the world and wanting to read more about it through your characters. More to come later on this, but otherwise I'll see you folks later in the week.